Well, we came mostly to get two of yours. Of course, you're going to sign for us. So that one of them we get to sell when you're famous, and we get to just like take a weekend somewhere. Yeah, something. Yeah. We put a little mistake in the description, like a point stamp. To look at points. Talk to you later. Well, he's still rocking. There you go. Should we sit more often? No. What I meant was, that I don't need.
Yeah, I was saying to Jack when he got really saw it at the end, it was really hard to hear. But for the most part, for someone who never read that before.
Well, the last one he had read. This one without notes.
Well, here's the book. Here's the book.
Thank you. You don't want a high five? You haven't seen the man right now. Don't you got it, man? You want a high five? I can't see it.
I learned this from a 2-year-old.
Thank you.
Look what she does.
Because I was thinking, thanks. I know I'm going in the right direction now. I'm going to brag about it next Monday.
You are heard everywhere.
That was awesome. Thank you. Yours was awesome, man.
Right. I paid them when I bought them. We don't have enough for to take care of it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Really.
See you again. Hey, can you go get her?
No, I don't.
Come on.
I'm not too professional.
What? L.B. You like Kevin Love?
That's true. They're doing it. Yeah.
See you. Great to be here.
It's fun. Yeah. I'm doing all the way so I get
He is no excuse.
doing it. And it's a great way to get everything. You know, when the music is going cut
We're going to be going out of town and she's wants to be asking Where are you going? Is that Mel C. Thompson?
Yes, please.
Where are you going? We're going to go to Utah. Well, we're going to be in a field there. The teacher told me that she changed her mind. She wanted to be here. I panhandle pizza. So I'm going to be there. We'll just leave it open.
Man, I want to show you something. Right. So good. So I might have a little bit on the stage straight.
Oh, yeah.
But it's too short, so.
Oh, I What's that fire, some kind of fire. So they're fire. No, but I'm saying there's Eli. There's this I can't read someone's here, or someone's here. I don't know who this is. See, like someone has, so there's this there's three. Well, anyhow, 16
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll have to hear you when you come back next time. Okay.
I got time.
All right. If you could kindly take your seats, if you already have them, you can place them where they best belong, which is to say in a chair. And we'll get back to you in just a moment. We're going to read off the people who are coming up next.
I think I'm allergic to something. I love what you did. I've lived in houses with that. Well,
All right, after the break, which you're at right now, these are the first 6 poets who are coming up. We got Jimmy Mankind, Eli, Ricardo, Garrett, Karen, Cesar, and then Buford is our mini feature. So if you could kindly find a place where you would like to sit, kindly have a seat, and we will take care of the rest of this evening. I hope you're having as much fun as I am. So where's Jimmy? Jimmy Mankind?
He was just here.
You're on.
I bet he went to
He's gobbling something back there.
You have to keep on fighting.
I'll keep on pattering until he gets up here. Patter, 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 pitter, patter, pitter, patter. Pitter, flatter, flitter, flutter, pitter, flatter.
I think I can.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're beginning.
I can sit over there.
Hi, everybody. That was awesome.
Whoever that couple was, they were awesome.
Claire and Jack. Brilliant. That was brilliant.
Is it what it is or is it not what it is? I wish you could explain that to me. Youthsters use it a lot in the taxi. I remember our own pet phrases like groovy, groovin'. Cool is still in use though. Peace, love, and dope. Tune in, turn on, drop out, ban the bomb. There were straights and hips. Power to the people. Women's lip. Before us, early surfer era. Longwood, heavy, taller than you, surfboards. Pre-birth control. There was, have it in ya. And you know what that meant the moment you heard it. Today's child is vaguely ambivalent. Broke, scared, hopeful of becoming suddenly rich, starved for affection by drugged up parents. It is means established, as is now and maybe, and is pragmatic for all occasions. I suspect MBA talk, saying adjust to it, live with it. You need slaves to make this work, so get one, preferably a girl. And a personal assistant, of course. Do not put your morality ghetto in the way of making it. What it is, of course, is debatable. As we can assume flow or stagnation in various topics. Are blacks more free here in the USA thanks to a black president? Who is what he is? Who is he? Torturer, liar, spy, sportsman, warmonger, globalizer, father, family man, pact, sovereignty seller? Eloquent in a way, but not a fighter, more of a punching bag, I'd say. Someone should tell him they'll never love you, so fuck him. He is what he is, but not what he said he was gonna be. If it is bad, one should say it's bad. It is wrong. It is good if it is good. Good and bad count. You can't say if under Hitler that, well, we'll just have to learn how to get along without Jews. It is what it is, because it was what it was. And don't the poor count here? If the income gap and the unmentionable asset gap creates a global ownership society, what do they really own? Us? To quote Bush, is that what it is? Or what they made it to be? Because we were duped into being asleep at the wheel of our democracy. The meek shall not inherit the earth at this rate. That is what it is now, as is. If we do not change it, I cannot accept the world as it is. I want it to be more fair, more better. Iran has 800 billion in oil sales in the past 10 years, and their people are starving, and our schools suck, and that war cost us $3 trillion, according to Stiglitz. But it is what it is. It's a religious monopoly. Putin is running a monarchy in concert with a covey of neo-dukes. We live in a plutocratic fiefdom of inherited wealth right here in the land of the indentured. It is what it is. Greece has 65% unemployment rate for under 25-year-olds and 26% overall. Greece is crashing on austerity established by Goldman Sachs and their crime partners, just like Spain is approaching bankruptcy, and Ireland, Portugal, and Italy. And those criminal minds are not accepting any as is except their own. Of course, Iceland and Argentina told them basically what it was going to be for them. Bankruptcy, we're not paying. And for most of the world, it was better when it was what it was. And it sure enough wasn't what we thought it was. Who knew some people actually liked the Cold War? Living in constant fear of total annihilation was what it was. The threat was trumping actual war. Mass psychosis barely relieved in '89 with the fall of the wall. Sometimes it is what it shouldn't be. When it is what it is, was what it was. And what it will be stayed there where it would be. And it is what it is was anti-disestablishment. And rebels were what it would be if we could have it in us.
Thank you. All right, we're still at about somewhere between 4 and 5 minutes for our time, so just keep aware of that. Eli, then Ricardo, then Garrett, then Karen, then Cesar, then our mini Buford, then Dory. Someone's calling my name? Oh, I thought someone was calling me. Never mind. And Eli, go.
It's entitled, If You Will Agree to Listen Only with Your Eyes, to hold your hands firmly over your ears and meditate singularly on the movement of my lips, I will speak slowly and deliberately and tell you what I remember of how and when we met and where and why we parted, never to reunite. There are diamonds everywhere, flowing from your eyes like psalms, covering the shore as tiny grains of iridescent sand, growing from your head in long strands and falling from the sky with great violence, as of all the stars being cast from heaven. And like all diamonds, they are covered in blood. Not blood that can be seen, but blood that can be felt to the quick by any with an aptitude for empathy. It is the first of eternal summer, the first day of eternal summer, and you and I have answered separate invitations from each other's unacquainted shadows to a solstice commencement on an uninhabited island in a sea of barren dreams. I plant flowers at your feet to trap you with thorns the way a stray black cat traps a new master with its gaze. But your heart is on fire, and molten lava drips from your breast down between your legs and runs along your inner thigh until it drips to the ground. Around you burn my gifts of bondage into screaming ethereal wisps of liberated passion. We played a game of dice and cards until nightfall, and were sucked up into the blackness of the starless sky, where a banquet was laid out on the moon as if it were a great round dining table, with either of us at each end, so far away that messengers were sent for months at a time on journeys to bring each other single-syllable words in a conversation of dire consequence. Our kingdoms grew prosperous from our wars with one another, and our romance remained as two national secrets, guarded to the death by our emissaries, ministers, and generals. In the center of the moon, a great tree sprung, and its fruits fed the black hole sky until it was oversated, and hung once more with heavy stars, lighting our way back to the shore. Our shadows, having become acquainted in our absence, had undertaken to build a great ark with all the vast resources of the island. The vessel seemed immense from a great distance, but as we grew closer, was revealed to be only large enough for one of us to escape. I insisted that you be the one to gain passage over the storm-besieged sea, but was easily persuaded by you to go in your stead, as you consoled me that you would be left the company of both our shadows. I have a short jingle I think I have time for. You lost your last confession on the lips of a nun who left her profession to find a more pleasurable one. And now you stand at the mouth of the mountain with your back to the fast-setting sun. In your right hand a quarrel of arrows, in your left a magnificent gun. But oh, all this aggression will avail you not, because you and all your possessions are imbued with eventual rot. And no, this song is not over, and no, it has not just begun. And yes, it holds none of the answers, because no, there has never been one. And yes, your moon is in Cancer, and now your moon is the sun. And no, this song is not over, and no, it will not soon end. And no, you have not been dreaming, and no, it is not all in your head. And yes, the night is your mother, and no is the last word she said.
Yeah. Thank you, Eli. Thank you so much.
sure you come back. I like it. All right, so Ricardo, then Garrett, then Karen, then Cesar, then Victor, Armeni, and Dory, and then this name down here that someone help me figure out. So give them a nice little round of applause.
Hey, Sacred Grounds, how's it going? Clara, that was among the best features, best performances I have ever seen in any art, in any class. That was awesome. That was great. I finished this today. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Sophia Elizabeth.
Yes.
She's awesome.
I know.
You know, the poem and the song, and that art is really guiding me. You know, poetry, jazz, the great American art form, American soul. You know, we need to educate our audience so folks take the time to appreciate it. Before I read Spectre Country Sacred, I want to say hi to my family. I love you. Hi Monique, hi Gail, hi Deborah, hi Sophia, hi Shinobia, hi Manisha, hi Tamisha. And hi to my children. I love you, Terrence. Hi T. Hi Camardi, hi Sean, hi King, hi Queen, hi Jaden, hi Arkell. Love your brother Rich, love your cousin Rich, love Dad. The dreary edge of love is the sidestep lonely down. Your kiss, I love you. Forever in love. Transport us to the sky where you are on so cool eyes. Natural, black, power. Love dusk is sunrise setting, weekly riding, loving freedom. Chamomile favoring make, my loves love to love. Dreams of tomorrows. Waking up, already raining. Back, forwards, drifting sweets. If you love, there is nothing. God and you. An angel sent me your greeting. I will marry you in time. The only. Behold, I see you sitting, throne. A message, feel from my soul. All that is God is yours. All find past sunlight stretch. Inside eternal to heaven. God is love. You are beauty. God, I am in love with you. If love is in warmth, then I am a dart. Never finding my love inside. The rock of faith is soul enveloping. Gibraltar to natural black power. Mother Africa, forever, love, eternity. I love you. The certainty of untold is forgotten. Swept under partition floor. Spirits of star found the earth. Forever in love. Transport us to the sky where you are on so cool eyes. Natural black power. Love dusk is sunrise setting, weekly riding loving freedom. Chamomile favoring make, my loves love to love. Dreams of tomorrow, waking up already raining. Back, forwards, drifting sweet. If you love, there is nothing. God in you. An angel sent me your greeting. I will marry you in time. The only. Behold, I see you sitting, throne. A message feel from my soul. All that is God is yours. All fine past sunlight stretch. Inside, eternal to heaven, God is love. You are beauty. God, I am in love with you. If love is in warmth, then I am a dart, never finding my love inside. The rock of faith is soul enveloping, Gibraltar to natural black power. Mother Africa, forever love, eternity. I love you. Love, American poet. And thank you, Charles Bukowski, Maurice Gibb, Phil Spector, Jen. I love you, Tracy. I love you, Dorothy. I love you, Jada. Good night. Thank you, Wednesday Night Sacred Grounds. Thanks, Steve.
All right. We got Garrett, then Karen, Cesar, and Buford are many, then Dory. So Garrett, come on up. Give him a nice round. We got several poets out there, so try to keep it short, ladies and gentlemen. Come on in here. We're good. Behave yourself. Not
Yes. Tough on tough. Well, it's tough. Just tough, tough, tough. Folks just love the word tough, tough here, tough there, tough everywhere, tough cops, tough love, tough teachers, tough standard, tough talk, tough this, tough that. Too tough, too much tough, tough, tough. Everyone loves toughness, it seems, and no wonder. Tough is tyrant, is terrorist, torture is traumatized. Tyrannosaurus rex, the tyrant lizard, terrorized and tortured other dinosaurs. Tyrants terrorize the people of their victims and expect everyone to love them for it. Tough talk, intimidation and bullying of others. Tough standards, tyrannizing students, children, employees of ordinance. Tough cops, taunt and torture and traumatize those not like them. The cultures, creeds, religions, sexual orientation, and more, and all expect the recipients to say thank you, and when the recipients do not say thank you and they do not love their oppressors, their masters, their superiors, their bosses, disgruntled employees striking out, suppressed students, vandal graffiti drop out, books stoned out on pick your substance, crime, poverty, desperation, meanness, cynicism that terrorize fashion and uprise with disrespect plus hatred or authority. But of course, rather than check their own culpable methods of the exalted taxmaster, our tough guys, tough laws that call for tougher organizations, tougher laws, tougher judges, tougher penalties, tougher scrutiny. And so here we are in a modern dinosaur age, with every no groaning, scapegoating and going with the flow, preferring bigger their presence with the delusion of security to the risk of democracy and freedom. Such as a society whose most sacred word is tough, sixth semper tyrannis. One-way streets lead for oneself, you think. People complain about the warm and fuzzy without a word about the cold and the hard. Politicals whine about how we're too lax, yet never comes to a point where we are too tough. All they want to share with the others is the misery of their own existence. See, they just can't stand to see the others, the kids, the women, the colors, the trees, the animals, the subordinates, themselves, too happy or fulfilled. Like that work through all the wasted time they've used up.
Always a generous heart and a good voice. I love it. So we have Karen, then Cesar, Buford, Dory. Come give them a nice round of applause.
Yeah, Garrett, I love that voice. Which Karen? Different Karen.
Oh, Karen, no, sorry.
Karen.
I know, I forgot that.
Gee, I'm running out of Karens.
What's Karen about? Yeah, too many.
Yeah.
Change it next week. Vectors. We pass in the crosswalk, Mercant and Dolores. He wears a uniform layer of dust, typical of involuntary outdoor lifestyle. His gaze is raw as an unwashed wound, as he tells me, this is it. 9 to 5 in a train, or else I'm leaving this country, going to the UK. Those are my demands. His pace has not changed, and I wonder as he recedes behind me whether this has been on his mind ever since that night the raccoon chewed holes in his only jacket. Application, online dating, take 2. A question on OkCupid asked, "Are you a pet person?" "No," I reply. "I am not suitable to be a pet. I'm not even tame." Incurable romantic I may be, but I will not leave my tail in the sea for you or any man. What sort of love offering is a self-maimed and crippled creature? Have they not noticed the bear prince and Selkie always come to tragic ends? Pygmalion was not a love story. Let me run my hands through the beast's shaggy mane. Eat wild blackberries from his hand while juice dribbles from her lips. Offer shells and poems wrapped in ginkgo leaves while we dance to slow, deep songs the rats sing while they are dreaming. Nightfall at Land's End. Red-tailed hawk extends her pinions, hovers motionless, crying softly above a line of Maxfield Parish trees that stand as taut against the twilight as dancers waiting for the music to begin. I do not exhale until she dives. Pelicans swoop in, tuned with perfect choreography. Tourist girls run up from the baths, laughing, "It's fucking cold here!" The world returns to normal. I think if you walked up now, I might ask if you would run away to Madagascar with me Thursday. Or maybe Monterey, where we could sleep holding hands in the kelp forest like otters. Hop wheels away through Stratus doors of heaven. I want to call out to her, wish her a noble maiden good hunting. But I have forgotten my song, left it perhaps in the pocket of a warmer coat.
That distinction. Not bad, skis. All right. Cesar, then Buford will be Armeni, then Dory, and then I'll have to find out who his name is. Before Greg, and then Ed, and then Karen Melander, and then Midge Hart, and a guy named Bob, and I can't remember the last name here, but we'll get it all figured out. There is a lot. We're good tonight. We be good.
Yeah. Been working on some translations of a Yucatecan poet. Her name is Briseida Cuevas Cobb, and I'm going to read. She writes in Mayan, and then I think someone else is translating them into Spanish, or maybe she writes in both Mayan and Spanish. Anyways, I'm going to skip the Mayan and just read the Spanish, and then read my translations into English. First one's called Pelota de Voz. Al pozo no le gusta que le tires piedras. Lástimas su quietud. Ese juego no le agrada. Si quieres jugar con él, haz de tu voz una pelota. Arrójalo. Verás que te la devuelve. Now here's the translation. Game of catch. The whale does not like it when you drop rocks on him. It disturbs his stillness. He does not like that game. If you want to play with the well, roll your voice into a ball. Throw it. Listen how it comes back to you. And papalote. El recuerdo es un papalote. Poco a poco le sueltas. Disfrutas su vuelo. En lo más alto se rompe el hilo de su memoria y te sientas a presenciar cómo lo posee la distancia. Kite. A memory is like a kite. Little by little, you release the string, and the wind takes it. As it gets higher and higher, it becomes smaller and smaller. Finally, the string breaks from you. Then you can own the distance. So, Brise de Cuevas Call.
Bridges are many, then we got Dory and this other person, then Greg and Ed and Karen, so we're doing really well. I appreciate everybody who's been here tonight.
This is called I Think You Should. I think you should compromise with me and not just take what you want and not give back. So, this is called, this is continuing my rundown of my family history, sort of. This is called My Sister Runs Away. My oldest younger sister decided that when she was in love there at 16 and wanted to get married. Hell no was my parents' basic reaction, but determined in a grown woman in every way except maybe maturity, she ran off with her 19-year-old boyfriend who had just recently joined the Army. Steve was tall and thin like Melissa. They wound up in a trailer out in the country above Chattanooga, Tennessee. Somebody came by selling magazines that Melissa couldn't pay for when they dropped them off to her and later came back for the money. This landed my very young, very immature but nice sibling in juvenile hall in Chattanooga. She contacted our older sister Carol, who despite all her own drinking was 15 years older than Melissa and more mature, a grant writer for the Georgia Department of Education in Atlanta. Jim, Carol's husband, a master driver of the streets of New York, climbed into his and Carol's small Toyota Celica and guided it through the Tennessee hills to Melissa. I rode along for support so I wouldn't be at home worrying about my sisters and my fast-driving brother-in-law going up and down the hills of Tennessee. Melissa was, of course, not very happy sitting in the juvenile hall cell, her long legs and already nasty cigarette habit trapped, it seems, by her youthful misery. Jim and Carol sprung her from jail and paid for the magazines to the county clerk or whoever it went to some 40 years ago. I shared an apartment with Carol and Jim in DeKalb County, Decatur, Georgia, in the middle of the suburban sprawl just outside of Atlanta. Melissa, as Carol put it, just sat around and smoked all day. This was like Carol did, with an added Scotch whiskey drinking habit despite holding down a good job with the state of Georgia that added an extra piece of drama to all of our lives. Now a grandmother of two, Melissa serves as a ticket seller for the Mobile, Alabama Bears, a mid-level minor league baseball team. Her daughter holds the same position. Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, Dory, and then hey Dory, hey Dory. Anyway, give him a nice round of applause.
Death is not just a statistic. We hear about it in the news all the time. There's a story behind everyone that dies. I want to read, hopefully there's enough time, for two articles that were written today. One was written by Peter Beaumont from The Guardian UK, which is an excellent newspaper that you can access online. The retaining wall of Gaza's harbor sticks out into the Mediterranean about 100 meters from the terrace of Al Dira Hotel, which is the base of where many of the journalists covering the conflict of Gaza stay. It's right on the beach. kids often play right near the hotel on the sand. They play soccer, kick the ball around. The first of the artillery shells came in a little after 4 p.m. earlier today, as I was riding on the hotel's terrace. There is a deafening explosion as it hits a structure on the pier, a place where we have seen hit before, where fishermen usually store their nets. Behind the smoke, I see 4 figures running, silhouettes whose legs are pumping raggedly. They clear the smoke. From their size, it is clear they are a man and 3 young boys. Where the harbor wall ends and the beach starts, there are few brightly colored tents and chairs for beach users in more peaceful times. The 4 figures jump onto the beach and begin running towards us and the safety of the hotel. Only afterwards do we discover there are 4 others who are dead, all children, lying on the wall. I am shown a picture of one of the dead boys, his skin scorched and bruised. Their names are released later: Ahed Bakir, age 10, Zakaria, age 10, and 2 other boys from the Bakir family, both named Mohammed, aged 11 and 9. The second shell catches the survivors as they reach the brightly colored tents. As it explodes, my colleagues, now standing by the terrace wall, shout at unseen Israeli gunners who can't hear them. They are only children. The man makes it to the terrace first, scrambling up a steep sandy bank. A skinny man in his 30s, he groans and holds up a t-shirt already staining red with blood where he has been hit in the stomach. He faints, and as he grows pale and limp, he is carried to a taxi, waved down in the street. The children are brought up next. Pulling up the t-shirt of the first boy, who looks about 8 years old, we find a shrapnel hole, small and round as a pencil head, where he had been hit in the chest over the second rib. Another boy, a brother or cousin, who is uninjured, slumps by the wall of the terrace, weeping by his side. The boy cries in pain as we clean and dress the wound, wrapping a field dressing around his chest, pressing to staunch the bleeding. He winces in pain and he is clearly embarrassed, too, as a colleague checks his shorts to look for unseen femoral bleeding. A waiter grabs a tablecloth to use as a stretcher, but a photographer takes the boy in his arms to carry him to the ambulance that has arrived. Other colleagues work on the final surviving casualty, an older boy. His arms are scuffed and a bandage around his head barely staunches a head wound. He too is quickly carried to the ambulance. In less than 10 minutes, it is over. Even the smoke on the pier has dried away, save for a few last drifting wisps. That's an eyewitness account by the journalist for The Guardian UK. Also, the reporter for NBC was playing with a few of the kids minutes before they were killed. So, if there's anything that can come out of this which is positive, the mainstream news networks were right there. I heard it on NPR, and they did a horrible job covering it, but hopefully others will do better. I'll probably be cut off, but I'll start reading the second thing. It's written by Scott McConnell on a website called theamericanconservative.com. It was written today, called Israel Runs Up the Score. Scott McConnell. At this writing, 1 Israeli has been killed by Hamas fire. Hundreds of Hamas rockets have either fallen harmlessly or been destroyed by Israel's Iron Dome anti-missile defense. The toll among Palestinians in Gaza is about 220 dead and about 1,500 wounded during this 10-day attack. This then is not so much a war as a high-tech slaughter. Israel could kill Palestinians more rapidly, of course, but seems to have judged that it can go on this pace, killing 15 to 20 a day, without provoking an international reaction. For some Israelis, it is pure entertainment. Yesterday, the Independent UK reported that Israelis had set up couches and were serving popcorn to watch their Air Force's destruction of Gaza's homes from the nearby hills. I'll jump to the last paragraph. Europe is quiet. One of the more interesting comments about the slaughter came from Judy Dempsey, who edits and writes for the Carnegie Europe think tank blog, European Leaders. European Leaders. Go to Gaza, she urged, professing shock at the European silence. She urged European leaders to organize massive medical assistance to Gaza. Even Netanyahu would think twice about assaulting a European hospital ship.